I know. Look, I've got 4 kids, and I'm telling you, if any single one of them had tipped somebody else's paint over, uh, they would have been running for their lives
Yeah.
because my kids would have just killed each other. I mean, he's a monster to his sister. He's a monster to the house. He sort of throws everything around, and this quick swivel looks to camera and the pouting, I think, is really quite distasteful. And that in particular, I think, is all, there's a director that's telling that kid to do that. And there must have been a motive. It didn't, that child didn't just spontaneously start giving sort of sharp looks to camera with a pout. And so somebody directed that to the nth degree and wanted to create exactly what we saw.
Yeah, and they're agenda pushing, aren't they? That's what they're doing there. It's a cross-dressing little boy. As I say, I don't want to sort of act like I'm horrified. I really don't really care if John Lewis want to make adverts that will infuriate their customers. Go right ahead, but it's fair to say that 99.9999999% of little boys don't wear dresses, don't wear necklaces, and don't wear makeup. Why didn't they focus on them? Because they'll say, this is inclusive. It's inclusivity. Well, you're excluding 99.999% of boys who don't wear makeup. Why do they have to have the makeup kid?
Well, because they are the most superior, bravest, and stunning children on the planet. So that's probably why. It's really interesting. About 6 years ago, they had a similar sort of advert with a little girl dancing around the house. She didn't give any sharp looks to camera. She didn't wreck anything. She didn't break anything. There was sort of a little, when she was doing a dance, she sort of slightly knocked something, but it was completely unintentional. It had such a different feel to this, really just polar opposites to this tiny, entitled little tyrant smashing up the house.
It's, but it's just like every commercial. I heard one on the radio the other day. I won't say what the product was, but it was some bloke, going, what I love about this is I'm able to buy my boyfriend a present. It's like, okay, great, but why don't you why wouldn't you say buy my girlfriend a present? It's more common. It will chime, it will strike a chord with more people. And yet they've got to virtue signal how groovy they are about gender fluidity, about gay people. Do you see what I mean? It's this sort of boring, predictable, thoroughly modern outlook. And quite why they think this stuff will sell their products, I'm not sure. Are you?
No, and it's always quite dangerous territory, isn't it? Because if you call it out, then you're prejudiced or discriminatory. Even if you're sort of saying, yeah, but it's every single advert and every single
Yeah,
shot.
exactly.
I think that's when it just gets a bit silly and a bit, it just makes my eyes roll. But yeah, it's a really difficult thing to talk about because otherwise you do get really rapidly into that
Yeah. Well,
terrible
don't
territory.
think Kelly. I'm certainly not objecting to it. I don't mind if this is what these corporations and these companies want to do. If these are the adverts they want to make, go right ahead. I just find it strange that they focus on an extremely small minority and
Mm.
ignore the massive majority. And I suspect that this advert will annoy people to such a degree that it won't get John Lewis any business at all.
No, unless it does actually say in the small print, if your children smash up your house, if somebody causes damage on purpose in your home and you sit at your breakfast table as if you drank 6 or 7 sedatives, unless that's in their terms and conditions, I really don't know if it's up to trading standards and is really representative of what the policy will offer. But the interesting thing is the ad agency, which is called Adam and Eve, they did a campaign for something called, I want to call it Help Girls or Hers Online or something. It's about period poverty. And they had to, amongst very few girls, they had to include a girl with short hair in the boys' toilets. And they took great
Exactly.
pains to make sure we knew.
That's the syndrome, isn't it? That's the syndrome. Always got to be this groovy stuff. As I say, let's get it on the line, I think, for both of us. We are not objecting to this. We are just wondering why these companies do it.
Yeah, it's right the way through, isn't it? And it can't be representative of their employees half the time, and certainly isn't representative of the majority of their client base. So it doesn't feel honest and real. It doesn't feel like somebody genuinely has thought of a great idea for an advert. It feels like the agenda came first. And actually, John Lewis is now participating in social engineering, like so many other corporate ideas at the moment. It's all about agenda pushing as opposed to genuinely selling you a product.
Exactly. So if I was making an advert, or I was a company that wanted to push a product via the medium of an advert, here's what I will want to do. I want to strike a chord with as many people as possible. So if you've got a naughty little kid causing havoc in the house, parents will go, God, blimey, that reminds me of my son. God, yeah. How many parents are going to go, oh, yeah, my little boy dresses up in dresses and puts necklaces on and wears makeup as well? Not that many.
I think most people I know that have seen it, they are equally as alarmed by the fact that he just puts nail varnish on the banister as he comes down the stairs, and then he wipes paint on the floor and then everywhere. And it's just such an entitled little act of vandalism on his behalf. But as for the dresses, I just sort of feel that it was just trying too hard, and it's just the head turns to camera and the glitter and all of it and the different poses. I think whoever directed that and came up with that storyboard has probably OD'd on RuPaul Drag Race.
I think you're probably right, Kelly. It's great to talk to you as always. Thank you so much for your time. Kellie-Jay Keen there.